Yata she tratli chi inishia nanish trachi nishinishla ado tensakani bashichin Twarchini dashiche ado tlashi dashinella. Hello there, this is Arlie Neskai. My traditional name is Red Singer. I'm a member of the Diné Nation and now living in Renton, Washington. Very happy that Forest Funmaker is there with you today in Wisconsin to share this information with you. We're very excited to be working together in this project to bring anger resolution to our communities across native lands. This work began for me in the mid-'80s when I was working at Chamala Indian School in Salem, Oregon, working with students from many tribes in the Pacific Northwest. And I was doing alcohol and drug prevention, then went into intervention, and then finally was certified as a drug alcohol counselor, and we began to do treatment and recovery. It was very exciting work. And one of the first trainings that I went to that really stuck in my mind to this day, I was told that when you ask youth to stop using, the first thing you have to be able to deal with effectively is anger. I never forgot that training, and to me, it signaled a lot of what we see and what I saw growing up as a Native person in our lands. Anger related to the situations with struggles as Native people in the history of our experience with America and the history of oppression, marginalization, the cultural and spiritual abuse that's now known as historical trauma. And then the effects of that on our families and on our communities and the different kind of things that began to appear. And even as a child that I began to notice the domestic violence and alcohol and drugs and later on death and suicides and other things that we know today that are just continuing on with our communities, and we're looking for answers, and we're still looking for answers. So as I was doing this work, I came to understand that anger is a very vital part of our life, and it always has been. And it's that part that connects us to how we're striving within ourselves for fulfillment, and how we're striving within ourselves to achieve what we envision for a good future for ourselves and our homes and our families. I was told that anger is with us ever since we're born onto this earth. Here we are inside our mother. Everything's perfect. We don't have to eat. We don't have to breathe. We don't have to drink. We don't even have to walk around inside of our mother there where she's taking care of every need that we have. Then all of a sudden the day comes, we're pushed out of the womb, and it's cold, and the lights are really bright, and people are touching us. And what do babies do? They start screaming, and they get pretty upset right off the bat. And so one of the persons that I read about that was studying anger, that's what she said. Anger seems to be with us, even as humankind when we're born. And growing up in America, one of the things that I didn't like and I totally took issue with even when I entered into the counseling field was how our anger as Native people in America and our experience should just be, forgotten. It's all in the past. It's history. It's time to let it go. All those kind of statements that were made. And a lot of people didn't understand how is it that we can begin to really look at those areas of our life, not just for the past, but how they're affecting us today and how they're still occurring today, and from a big level such as that. And how can we begin to understand, to find ways to resolve that anger that's there? And resolution then is, why is that anger there? What is its purpose? What is it telling us about what we need in our lives? And then how can we make choices to meet those needs in our lives? And anger is really crucial in that process. Anger has been good for us as Native people because for so long, many of us knew that the school system, the government, was telling basically lies about us and about our history and about their interactions with us. And when I traveled with American Indian Dance Theater to other countries in the 90s, these people in other lands knew that a lot of what America told about us was lies. And so the anger was there all the time, was there underneath. And it was that part of ourselves that was still reaching way down. You know, like if you're in a big water and you're floating and you can barely keep your head up and you stick your foot and you can feel a rock down there, right? There's that rock. Ooh, let me push myself up and stay on that rock. Some people refer to that as a touchstone. You can just touch it down there. It's just enough to hold you up. And with all these historical lies and oppression that's been upon us and the desire for us just to assimilate and just let go of everything, anger has been that touchstone for us and has kept us connected to that dignity within ourselves, integrity about how we live, and also that desire for a vision of how we really want to live as Native people. So I began to learn in different ways. Some of the ways came through traditional knowledge of our people. Some of it came through my own personal healing in group work that I did as I began to look at the effects of historical trauma in my life. And some of it then from working with Native youth especially, about how anger was present in their lives and understanding what the roots of that were, and really, rather than fighting against the anger that they were feeling, following the anger, and from there seeing where it was really coming from, and then from there being able to effectively clarify what are the needs that the anger is signaling. Along this journey, one of the things that's very, very important, and I grew to understand this very deeply, and it's a big part of what I train and teach with anger resolution, is that anger hangs out with two people. Anger almost always, and I've never found a situation where anger was not accompanied by two very important emotions, and they are sadness and fear. And I found that the higher the level of anger, the greater the sadness and the fear. It's very, very interesting. And once you learn this, your understanding with your own anger, the anger that other people have experienced, will just jump light years ahead. So why is that? Sadness is the emotion that's connected to loss. Something very important that I value, that I need, has been taken away. Or for people who are children or people who grew up in oppressed situations or neglectful or abusive situations, something that I need that's valuable to me in my life was never there. It's missing. It's gone. And so anger's around. Anger's around to help us to try to fill that hole, to make us stronger, to make us feel some sense of confidence, to make us feel some sort of efficacy in our lives. It's trying its best. The other thing then is fear. Fear is with anger because fear is the feeling we have when we have the sense that something might be taken away. It's the fear, it's the feeling of expected loss. Uh-oh, watch out. You know, I've been in this situation before. When I was in this situation, things didn't turn out good. So like, okay, you know, and that anxiety begins to increase, that fear begins to increase, the adrenaline begins to increase, and along with that, then anger jumps in there too. Anger's there like our protector when that fear is around. And fear again is there because of the sense that something might be taken away from us. So it's very, very important. And when you understand these things, when you come to that realization. You usually take some time to look at your own anger and anger situations and how is that related to loss and fear. And when you understand that, then you understand why the anger is there and why the anger is fighting so hard. So when I work with anger resolution, what I work toward is that in order for the anger to resolve and to come to peace, I'm giving you a signal, a warning that something's really important is going on here. It needs to be taken care of. What you have to do then is look at what has been taken away and what might be taken away. What is that sense that the person carries of those two things? And that is the trail, following those two persons and where they're going to lead you. That is the trail to resolving anger. And when those needs then are met, that those is being signaled by sadness and fear, when the person then in an empowered state of mind begins to go forward and fulfill the needs that are being signaled by that, then the anger will begin to drop down. And the anger will drop down because, it's out there fighting in front. Okay. I know you're sad. I know you're worried. I know some things have been taken away, so I'm fighting for you out here. All right. I've been out here for a couple of days. Whoa, you're still kind of limping, man. Take care of that. Can you? Yeah, because I'm getting tired, man. Oh, shoot. Oh, gosh, that hurt. Oh, shoot. Okay, how you doing? Hey, man. Looks like, oh, yeah, you're looking better. All right. How's it feel? You got it? Looks like you got it. All right, cool. We're good. And that's when the anger then can begin to settle down, and that feeling then of fulfillment begins to return. And it's really, really important. I mean, people that I've worked with who've lived with a life full of resentment and bitterness and hostility and aggression and intimidation, once they discover this, it's an interesting thing, because they begin to see that anger has been that warrior for them. Anger has been that one out there fighting these battles for them. But they're still wounded. And once they find that wounded part of themselves and begin to make choices to take care of that and fulfill it and begin to grow and develop as a person at a really deep level, then they can say, oh, this is cool. My anger can finally rest. My anger can finally settle down and take a break.